Hey there, Virgo. Welcome to your reading for the week of, I don't know, October 31st or something like that. You have this card wanting to pop off here, page one, so we'll definitely keep that in mind. But we are going to jump right in here, Virgo, and we're going to see what is going on in your current general energies in this first position right here. Virgo, this looks amazing already, so I like that. In your next position, it looks even better. We are going to look at the unexpected, or if there is anything unexpected coming in for you. In your next position, we're going to look at anything that could be entering into your life at this time. This is the Coffee Cup Oracle, by the way. People keep asking about this one, and this is the Coffee Cup Oracle by Amira. And then finally, we are going to see if there's any advice from your future self in this last row right here. I'm also going to pull 3 yes/no question cards at the end. If you don't have questions, that's fine too. I'm just going to put them all together kind of as like one last, wrap up, whatever you want to call it. You have 3 cards want to pop out here. You have this revenge card, this enterprise card, and this health card. I keep telling people like, no, no revenge stuff at this time of the year. We have Mars going retrograde in just a few days now, or pretty soon. It'll be on the 30th. And, I always say like, no revenge, no gossip, no fighting with people or causing arguments or any of that stuff under Mars retrograde, because it'll always come back to bite you. And so I would avoid that. And that's what I feel like this is saying. Not that you would do anything. I'm just saying, like, even like in work, no gossip, no talking behind people's back. I would be very careful of your words at this time as well. But you have this enterprise card. You have very good cards for finances, work. If you're thinking about changing work, definitely some major improvements. A great time for your health as well. Believe it or not, Mars retrograde, says like, be careful. Don't try to like lift 1,000 pounds over your head or something like that, right? That's when we get injured, when we're not careful under Mars retrograde. But if we are careful and if we pay attention to our health, we can actually find some health answers during Mars retrograde. So great time to do that. You have the World, the Fool, and the Emperor here. Something about like travel coming up here is what I'd say. I feel like you're walking towards like fulfillment. It's like you're walking towards a lot of passion here, but like why I see this as a little bit of a like a speed bump is what I would say, Virgo. Do I think it's that big of a deal? No. So there you go. You have the World, the Fool, and the Emperor. I feel like you need to stay focused for whatever reason. I'm getting the word focus on the World card. The World does not represent necessarily focus. Really, it's like the end of a journey. We go from the World, or we go from the Fool to the World in the major arcana, and then we start all over again. And like, are you kidding me? World, Fool. It's like you're starting all over again. Or you're just like moving on to a new cycle in your life. And this is what we do in life. I mean, this is literally life right here. Those 2 cards. We are born, and then we start our journey, and we go all the way back to here. So I kind of feel like you're starting a new cycle. I would definitely take some sort of leap of faith, but again, I feel there's something about balance or needing to kind of like maintain, what you're doing. It's like, it's almost like I see you as just a pillar in my head. And, nothing, or like maybe like a lighthouse is a better term to use, right? But like I feel like you're in the middle of the ocean, but you're just like standing still. These are like the weird things that are popping into my head. I feel like what this is talking about as well is, just to give you some examples of where I think this craziness is going, is Page of Cups. It's like, sometimes I think we get into a relationship and we change who we are, right? I feel like this is saying, no, you need to be like the lighthouse. I feel like you need to kind of keep doing what you're doing. Don't make any changes for another person. I'm not saying we shouldn't be compromising and stuff like that in relationships, but I'm saying don't sacrifice who you are is what I feel like this is kind of saying. I feel like it's saying it would be better for you to pretend as like almost pretend that you don't have the relationship, even though you do, and to kind of like maintain your life as it is. I don't know. That's what's popping into my head. I feel like if you start changing, then you're becoming a new person or a different person that maybe this person, whoever this is over here wouldn't like. So again, maintain. I don't know. It's popping into my head as important. Maintain who you are. You have the Emperor here. The Emperor would totally do that as well. So, definitely. I would also say that, again, I get this major, kind of need to focus at this time. There are like many like work improvements. I feel like there's many career improvements, or if you have a business, many business improvements that are available to you. I would encourage you to look back on past relationships here, Virgo, not to like relive them or something, but especially for those of you that are getting in something new. It's like, in the past, would people get you off your path, or would they kind of create a dip in your business or something? And I feel like this is saying, can you look at that and change it right now, and so that it doesn't happen again, so that you're kind of breaking this cycle. It's almost as if the world and the fool are saying you have the opportunity to break out of a cycle that you've experienced in the past, so do it. Look, with the world, you have the Ace of Wands. Definitely a new beginning coming in for you. This is like a very passionate new beginning. Ace of Wands twice, World, Fool. So clearly there's a lot of like rewards and good things coming in for you. You have the Star card next. Not the Star card, or not the Star card in the tarot. The Star card in this Oracle deck that I'll show you. And it says, a long journey brings rewards. So there are clearly rewards coming in for you. With the Fool, you have the Hermit. This is your energy here, Virgo. So you're showing up in a strong position. This is clearly you that is going off on a new journey in a lot of ways. It's kind of funny because, it's like, the saying, things get worse before they get better. That's kind of like popping into my head, but I don't think things are getting worse necessarily. I just think that it's like sometimes I think we start questioning ourselves. Like, I think there are several books that talk about this, but I'm pretty sure actually in the War of Art, Stephen Pressfield talks about this, how there's like a moment before we get really good at something where we kind of like feel like we're getting worse, if that makes sense. I don't know, it's kind of popping into my head. With the Emperor, you have the Three of Wands, major expansion. I feel like your life is about to change significantly, like, experiencing things you've never experienced before. But I feel like you need to be the lighthouse, like in the storm. I feel like you need to be the kind of like the immovable force, if that makes sense. Next, in the area of the unexpected, you have this Wolf card. It says, beware of who you trust. And you also have the Star card. It says, a long journey brings rewards. Yeah, I wouldn't be like out there running your mouth. I get something about words popping into my head. Like, I would be careful who you tell what to. Might be just a good time to kind of keep things to yourself. And I'm not saying that you can't share things in the future, but for whatever reason, maybe right now there are like jealous people around you, or maybe there are people who would be jealous. So I would just be careful of that. I would also focus on the Six of Pentacles. It's popping into my head that you could be in a very giving space, just in general. And by the way, I don't think there's anything unexpected coming in for you, just so you know. But what I feel like this row is talking about is you being in a very giving space. And so sometimes I think when we're feeling extra generous, people can kind of sense that and they latch onto it and they take advantage of us. So, make sure that you're kind of giving an equal give and take. I also feel there is a journey coming in for you that obviously has some rewards. We see this here. Eight of Cups is a journey. You have the Eight of Cups, Six of Pentacles, and the Seven of Pentacles. There's some sort of change here, or a change in direction. Something is, even if we go this way here, I wouldn't jump to conclusions here, Virgo. It's like you have the Knight of Swords, Seven of Pentacles. He's kind of looking at his situation. He's saying, is it worth it? Knight of Swords, jumping to conclusions. Five of Wands is conflict and competition. But again, I feel that for some of you, you need to almost allow something to play out here and not have, I just watch your emotions. Kind of, kind of like a tangled web is what's popping into my head. And, kind of like an emotional roller coaster, but I don't even think that's the right term, because I feel like if you just stay kind of, in the middle, as far as any type of emotional roller coaster is concerned, then, things will actually go well. This is almost giving me the vibes of needing to make sure that you don't react to something because you might not have all the details, is kind of what I'm getting here. You do have the Eight of Cups. I do feel some of you are kind of like walking towards fulfillment. I feel like you've already walked away from something. Doesn't matter if it's a person, place, or thing. Doesn't really matter. This is the only card that has an eclipse on it right here. You will actually, this video will be published on the Scorpio solar eclipse. So you'll probably be watching this on the day of the eclipse, the 25th. And, you could be kind of letting something go or removing something from your life. And I do feel like you're on a long journey. I would make sure you're giving to the right things. For some of you, I feel you made the decision to walk away from something because, you weren't getting what you wanted out of the situation. Whether, again, it doesn't have to be love. It could be a work or a business situation as well. I really feel that you're kind of, it's like you're right before this, like a position of authority. You have this card at the end, this throne card. It says position of authority on it. And I feel like you're kind of like on the razor's edge of becoming an authority. Some of you, like in work or business, or maybe you have a YouTube channel and you're about to become an authority on something. It's like you're right there. You have this Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles is a change in direction. So there's some sort of change that's going on here. But it's kind of funny that you have that Knight of Swords, Five of Wands. It's like kind of like saying, wait. It's like I think this Eight of Cups is a change that you've already made. And the Seven of Pentacles is another change that you're thinking of making. So, let's see if we can get details on this. With the Eight of Cups, you have the King of Pentacles here. So some of you could be, this could be just more financial stability. It could also be a Taurus in your life as well if you're dealing with a Taurus. Very stable, secure energy is what I would say here. Something has to change as well. Taurus is a card of convention. It's a card of like the way things have always been done. It's kind of funny because Leo is right next to you, and I'm always saying to Leo, like basically Leo always gets these cards of convention. I know people hate it when I talk about other signs, but get over it, number one. Number two, I'm telling you this to give you an example. What I would say is that, you're very close to that energy. So, I feel if you're doing things the same way that they've always been done in your life, then, that could be leading to stuck energy. Although I kind of feel like this is a catalyst. It's almost like I see a mirror that you have looked into recently, and not a real mirror, but maybe you've been having dreams that have been like mirroring things to you about your life. And I feel like it's kind of grossing you out. Like you're like, I don't want this anymore. I want to make a change. That's where this change is coming from. I kind of like this. With the Six of Pentacles, you have the Knight of Pentacles. Something is just missing work. Something is just missing some energy being put into something. This is like no movement, the Knight of Pentacles. So I feel that. By the way, if you're like getting into a relationship, I kind of feel this is saying like allow the other person to put in some work. Allow them to do a little bit of the, chasing or whatever. I don't like these like toxic relationship terms. Like I feel like we should focus on Six of Pentacles. It's like a tennis match. You put a little energy in, they put a little energy in. You put a little in, they put a little in. It's like then nobody is ever overgiving in those situations. But I do feel, again, I don't mean this in a toxic way, but I do feel that if you're getting into something with a new person, which clearly is showing up here, Page of Cups, that you need to allow some of that like chasing energy, allow them to kind of do things for you or pursue you or whatever. So, I don't know, it's popping into my head. I also feel like there are significant changes. There's something you haven't done yet in business. For those of you in work or business, I feel like you've been thinking about kind of making a change. I would just do it. If I'm being honest, I think that you'll probably end up taking action like once we get into the new year. So does it really matter? Probably not is what I'll say, but I feel like you could take action now. With the Seven of Pentacles, here you go. You have the Chariot. Definitely a victory coming in for you. I feel there's some big victories coming in, and I do feel you're clearly making a change. I mean, Chariot, he's literally leaving the city behind him, and he's going somewhere new. You're moving towards something new. You have this Flowers card. It says romance and sweetness. What is this? Oh, yeah, what's coming towards you, right? You have this Old Woman card. It says sadness, female. It could just be an older person that's coming in for you. So I don't attach gender to these cards, of course, in a general reading. But I do feel there is clearly romance coming in for you here. You could be the older person as well. Take it how it resonates. It's like, and 10-10, by the way. So you could be the person that's older. They could be the person that's older. It doesn't really matter. But I do feel there could be a little bit of an age difference here. But it looks pretty good to me. I also, for whatever reason, feel like this older woman card is just talking about your experience, like, in work or business. You have the Magician as well. Here's what I'm going to tell you before we get into love stuff is this right here. The Chariot, he kind of looks like the Magician, and he also has this wand. It's kind of like the Magician's wand as well. And he also has these stars up here and these moons on his shoulders. Kind of represents as above, so below energy. And so going from the Chariot to the Magician to the Ace of Wands is telling me that a lot of you could be creating a very passionate new beginning, but it's like you're worried about, I feel like you're worried about competition. If we go like this, he's pointing down to the Five of Wands. It's like, I feel like you need to go this way, not this way. So don't think that, there's too much competition. It's funny that the other day I did a video where I said, it's like, I don't remember who I was talking to, but I was saying something about, like, imagine if you want to start a tarot channel now. There's like a ton of competition in the tarot industry, but here's the thing, is that I personally believe it doesn't matter if there were a billion people doing something that you want to do. If you truly desire to do something, right here, desire, then it doesn't matter how much competition there is, you will kind of stand out. You will be successful. Because if something's for you, it's for you. That's what I believe. And it doesn't matter how many people are doing it. So I kind of feel that for some of you, where you might be looking at something as competition, but really you're meant to do it. So there is no competition. I feel like you need to follow your heart. That Ace of Wands, it's like desiring to do something, and that's all that matters. So there you go. You have the Page of Cups, Magician, and the Knight of Swords here. Again, I do feel there is a love offer coming in for you here. Something very significant, kind of like in your imagination right now. He's looking at that fish. That fish might not exist. So he needs to grab onto that fish, as I always say, and he needs to bring it down to earth. So, I feel for some of you, if you are kind of daydreaming about a person, or if you're communicating with a person or whatever, it maybe hasn't kind of gotten off the ground yet. I also feel that the reason could be that Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands, there's a castle that's crumbling in the background. It's kind of like out with the old, in with the new. Some of you could be in that in-between time. I also feel like something needs a little bit more hope, a little bit more faith. The Ace of Wands can be that spark of hope, that thing that inspires us to action. So you have the Magician. Magician says you will get what you focus on. So he has these flowers in front of him, and he knows he has to focus on those flowers to kind of get what he wants. He also has this snake, this Ouroboros, the snake eating its own tail, wrapped around his waist. The Ouroboros kind of represents reinvention. This reading, you have, basically every single card that could possibly represent a reinvention. So you are clearly reinventing yourself at this time, and I feel it's going to lead to a lot of success. Again, I wouldn't get distracted. I feel like it's kind of weird that I said don't make a change earlier if you're like dealing with a person in a relationship. I don't think that's true. Like if you're saying I'm making a change for me personally, then I would be making that type of change, meaning like maybe you're stepping into some sort of business role, so you're becoming more confident, you're kind of working on your business skills and all that stuff. I would be making those changes that are for yourself. And again, I don't know why, but I would say keep being a lighthouse. Like I feel like you could be in the middle of a storm, but you're still going to be just exactly the same. And I hope that makes sense. For whatever reason, that's what I'm getting here. Maybe, again, you could be attracting a person who just needs a lighthouse, right? And it doesn't even have to be love. This could be like friends or whatever. You have the Knight of Swords here. So again, no quick decisions. I would be taking your time, thinking things through. And I also wouldn't rush anything. But let's look into this here. Again, definitely communication or love coming in for you if it isn't already. Some of you already have this. With the Page of Cups, you have the Emperor twice in the same position here. It could be an Aries for some of you going this way, Emperor, that is entering into your life. It could also just be someone who has Aries in their chart. If it's not an Aries, or even if this doesn't have to do with love, I feel like it's talking about this Throne card right here. It's like you're bossing up big time here, Virgo, and I'm pretty sure in one of your recent readings I said that. With the Magician, you have marriage, Four of Wands. So you could be meeting a person or have your eye on a person that you will marry here as well. With the Knight of Swords, you have the Justice card. You have the Six of Pentacles as well. So again, kind of like I was saying, it's funny that I was saying that. Six of Pentacles to the Justice card, Knight of Swords here. It's like, don't rush. Again, if you're in love, tennis match. Give a little, take a little. Give a little, take a little, right? I think that's going to be your best bet. I also kind of feel like major karmic vibes here. The only thing that I wish was here would be the Wheel of Fortune, because that to me would like push me a little bit more towards the side of saying, there are some karmic rewards coming in here. There still could be karmic rewards coming in here. Just because it's not here doesn't mean that it won't happen. But again, it would be like a little bit stronger for me if it was. Next, you have the Seahorse. It says family matters, and you also have this Throne. It says position of authority. I think you have a major opportunity to kind of step into a position of authority. But again, I feel that Knight of Pentacles, if you have a business or a career or something you're working on, you could even be retired and you could be thinking about taking authority over like your health or something else, right, in your life. And I kind of feel like this is saying start taking the actions, whatever you're thinking about doing with the Knight of Pentacles. I would also say Ace of Wands twice. It's like saying whatever you feel inspired to do. The problem right now with Neptune and Pisces is our inspirations might be like a little bit crazy. We might think, I'm going to start a gerbil factory or something like that. It could be a crazy idea. But, Neptune in Pisces is basically just so crazy. it'll work. And I keep encouraging people to embrace those like nuttier ideas. So you have the Ace of Wands, the Justice card, the Five of Wands. I also think it's interesting. Look, Empress right here. So Emperor and Empress, divine counterparts. I feel like you need to trust. Oh, you do have. I was looking. I knew you had the Justice card twice, and I was looking over here for it, but you have the Justice card twice. Ace of Wands, passionate new beginning. So I feel there's some sort of new beginning entering into your life right here. I feel you really need to follow your desires. And again, if you're worried that things aren't going to work out, Justice. Put a little energy into something. If it works, keep going. If it doesn't, stop. Pretty simple with the Justice card. I also feel you could be worried about competition, but I feel like you need to move towards something where there is competition, but also don't look at it as competition. I keep saying that we're entering into this time of co-creation. Look at it as how can I co-create with the competition, right? I think if you can do that, you will be extremely successful. With the Ace of Wands, you have the Judgment card. Kind of waking up to something. Again, this is like a sudden idea. You know, Judgment can be kind of like the Tower in some ways. That's not accurate tarot, but you know what I would say is sometimes it can happen very suddenly where you feel this pull or this inspiration to move in a certain direction. So, you know, I feel that here. And again, you have a lot of very powerful cards, so it makes perfect sense to me. With the Justice card, you have the Ten of Cups, karma, fortune after difficulty, happiness, good things coming in for you, love it. And with the Five of Wands, you have the Two of Wands, go on the journey, is what I would say here. And, you know, part of me, like, I kind of have weird stories popping into my head here, Virgo, where it's like maybe some of you have to make a decision with that Five of Wands. Like, maybe you're with a person that you really like, or maybe you're meeting a new person, and at the same time you meet a new person. Maybe an opportunity comes up to go on a long journey. Maybe this person doesn't want to go on that journey with you, or maybe you feel like they wouldn't want to go on the journey with you. And so, number one, no assumptions, right? Number two, I almost feel, I don't want to say this is like a test. I hate when people say that because I don't think like the universe is always testing us. I think that really, because that's not how it works. I think we more have choices. And so it's not really a test, but you know, what I would say here is I feel like it's kind of almost a test where the universe is like saying, are you gonna stick to your scruples here? Are you gonna stick to what you believe in, or are you gonna allow someone else to control your life? And the thing is, it's like if you pass the test, I feel like the person will follow, which is very interesting. So that's that. We're gonna pull 3 yes/no question cards here, Virgo. 1, 2, 3. Feel free to pause this reading if you need time to think your questions. 1, 2, 3. Again, I'm going to put them all together at the end as well. For question number 1, I would say no. You have the Five of Swords. It's like, or I kind of feel like maybe. I should really call these yes, no, maybe. I feel like if you're willing to take a risk, then yes. For question number 2, no. 9 of Swords. It's like worries, fears, get out of your head. And for question number 3, you have the Six of Wands. Yes, major success. Putting this all together, I feel you need to get out of your head. And I feel like you need to take some sort of risk, which this reading basically says. I feel like I say this to you all the time as well. I'm pretty sure in your last reading I did for you, you had the risk card. So I'd be taking some sort of risk in like work or business because I feel it'll lead to success. Pretty interesting reading, Virgo. But thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your Sun, Moon, and Rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your week.